Now joining us from the legendary Roots crew, this guy is super talented. He's a writer, he's a producer. He has plays. Let's give it up for Dice Raw right here. Morning Show with K Foxx. What's up?
Thanks,
What's up, Dice Raw?
Man, I'm good to be here. You know, it's early in the morning.
Yeah, they were bad. They were like, man, he's not coming here this early. I'm like, he has an important thing. He has a hip hop musical going on called Box.
Yeah, man, Box, the story of Henry Box Brown, a slave who mailed himself from Virginia to Philadelphia, actually. And this is his 200-year anniversary, so I figured it would be good to launch it here in Philly.
And it's Black History Month.
It is Black History Month, which is, you know, extra good. Yeah.
Wow. So, okay, where can we see this play?
You can see the play at the Bonnell Audotorium on Community College campus, which is 556 North 17th Street.
Okay.
And we start tonight. The first show is at 7. Tomorrow we have a kids show at 11 a.m. At the same theater, and then Saturday we have 2 shows too, 1 at 3 and 1 at 7.
Now, who's all in the cast of Box?
Box, it stars me, of course. That's why I'm here plugging away.
That's wrong.
And then and we have Minister Jamie Knight, who is a gospel artist, and she's in it. She plays my wife Nancy, which is a huge part of the play because one of the reasons that Henry wanted to escape slavery is because his wife was sold to another master, actually, and was moved to North Carolina. He never saw her again. So she plays my wife Nancy. Then we have a local artist named Gina Zoe, who plays Martha the abolitionist. It was directed by Phil Brown, who was, Philadelphia theater professional for years. He worked at Disney and BT, and now he's at the Shipley School on the main line. He's the theater director over there, so he directed the play for us. And Toby Gaddison, and we have a young kid named Ibn who's in it.
Okay.
And Ibn is 9 years old.
Now, I know you from, performing, you're a rapper, segueing from, rap. How did you get into, performing and producing plays?
That's funny you asked that because I never really had an interest in theater because, theater is always like real thespian, style, yeah, opera or whatever. And I did an album about mass incarceration, which Last Jimmy, which you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to just do a same regular old hip-hop performance, walking back and forth on stage, not really doing anything too interesting. So I was like, what could I do to add an element to it? So Apple asked me to perform at a store in New York when they heard I had an album coming out. They didn't know the record was about mass incarceration. It popped up on their thing. It was like, oh, well, do you want to come do an in-store? And when I went there, I had a whole bunch of brothers in orange jumpsuits line up outside the store.
Wow.
And people were really kind of blown away. Even the people in the store were like, yo, what is this album about again? And it raised a lot of awareness. So I was like, well, how can I raise more awareness? And so we did a musical, and now we're doing another one.
Man, and you said you just performed in Miami 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we just did the Last Jimmy in Miami 2 weeks ago at the Adrian Arts Center. It was sold out, all shows, and it was great. And it's interesting though how both characters, Henry Box Brown and Jimmy from the Last Jimmy, are still kind of in chains, in 400 years of Black history.
Yeah. Man.
I wanted to know, what type of mental preparation did you do in order to get into this character? It's heavy.
It is, just writing the music for it, because it is a musical. Writing a musical, I had to read his narrative, and the one thing that was very, was mind jarring a little bit was just how sad his story was, and putting myself in that position, and just what kind of emotion do I get from reading the story, and it was just very depressing.
Isn't it saddening. But when we were talking behind the scenes, and he was telling me about the play, his wife was sold into slavery, but then after that he ended up freeing himself?
Yeah, exactly. It does have a happy ending, and which is one of the reasons why I wanted to tell this story too, because a lot of slave narrative reads whips and chains. African American slaves didn't have a personality besides slavery. All we did was pick cotton. All we did was pick tobacco. All we did was get whipped. And that's not the case. If you look at the Black inventors, they're vast. We invented a lot of inventions, and a lot of those inventions came out of slavery. For a lot of good reasons. To be like, boy, what, you didn't get that stuff up yet over there? Mm-hmm. You're like, oh well, I gotta figure it out. Give me a stick. Give me some straw. Let me tie it together. I got a broom.
Wow.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we did, and and if you look at the list of Black inventors, the list will fall out onto the floor for the things we invented. So Henry Box Brown, he wasn't just a slave; he was a master carpenter. He He was a master tobaccoist. You know what I'm saying? He was a magician. He sang in a church choir. You know, him and his master were friends. You know, he had what was considered to be an uncommonly kind master, which is another reason why I thought it was interesting to tell this particular narrative, because it even shows white slave masters in a different light. Like, this guy owned slaves, but he didn't really believe in slavery. You know, there's a lot of interesting dynamic to it. Actually, when we were first doing it, I spoke to a local magician named Randy Shine, who knew about Henry Box Brown already through the black magicians world. And he was like, oh, you know, he was a really, really well-known magician. And I was like, oh, wow, that's a different element to the story. And he told me another story about another slave that we know nothing about, who some people say is real and some people say is fake, and his name was High John. So High John was like an uncatchable slave who would come in the morning. He would show up to a plantation in the morning, hang out, work, you know, eat, and then he'll teach some slaves how to read. He'll teach some slaves magic, and then he'd leave. And they say, High John come in the day, and then he leave at night. Now, some people say he's real, but some people say they don't.
That sounds pretty.
They don't really know. But this, you know, it's an interesting dynamic. You know,
listen, man, this is you know, Black History Month. This is something you guys need to support and go see. Where can they come see Box? Give them the information one more time.
I'm gonna give it to them again. That's right, kids.
Yeah,
keep me on track. Keep keeping me on track. February 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, you can come see Box at the Bonnell Auditorium, which is on Community College campus, 556 North 17th Street. And we're going to be there the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, the 8th, 9th, and 10th, the 15th, 16th, and 17th. This is something for your family. You need to bring your kids out to. Very kid friendly.
And I'm proud because I know you, Dice Raw, from rapping and what you're taking your art form to, you know, to theater. This is an amazing feat, man.
Thanks, Q.
So
appreciate
can we
it,
give it up for Dice Raw? We'll have all the information on rnbphilly.com. Right now. It's 8:14 in 10 minutes. We have the Straight No Chaser Entertainment Report. What's coming up, Kay?
Did Kanye West get his black